You're listening to Kizuki, the podcast. I'm Mae Yoshikawa, and I define the Japanese concept of Kizuki as the following. Kizuki 1. A moment of epiphany, an aha of realization or insight which opens the knower to a new dimension of truth that was formerly unknown. 2. Steps in an incremental growth of awareness, resulting in a movement from ignorance to greater awareness of the bigger picture. A kind of knowing that cannot be undone, that cannot be unrealized. As a longtime yoga and meditation practitioner, a world traveler, and curious self-explorer, I'm obsessed with Kizukis. Listen on each week for inspiring and enlightening stories that may just tip you over for your next aha. On this week's episode, Teenage Grief. Hi everyone, how are you guys doing? So this week's episode, Teenage Grief, might be a bit of a misnomer. Let me just start there. Nobody died, not immediately around me, and no one's grieving. Well, or maybe I was. That's the thing. I didn't know what else to call it but teenage grief. So let me explain. My son, my first son, Isa, is 14. And for any of you all parenting teenagers out there, I feel like just sitting with you in front of the fireplace and just talking it out because, oh my God, I thought I was a good parent. Well, no, I think I still am. But teenage parenting is a whole other thing, right? It's not like all of those days and nights I was nursing the baby and putting the baby to sleep and rocking him and hugging him and, feeding and going for walks and taking him to school. No, teenage parenting is like learning to celebrate his independence and his sovereignty, but he's still kind of half a child. And, it's like this walking along these ambiguous lines of giving too much or too little, or you want to let him know that you're there, but you don't want to be smothering him. And I want to lean into trust and giving him all of the freedom that he so deserves, but I don't want to be non-existent in his life because lately it feels like it's so easy to, feel like a nothing. Or so I thought anyway. So a couple weeks ago, his school sent some emails out and they do these regular three-way conferences between the parent, the teacher, and the student. And there's only 10 minutes allocated to each student and each teacher, but you can book them with as many teachers as you like. And it's just like a checkpoint for how he's doing at school. Now, I send my son to a private school, and I took the opportunity to book every single one of the teachers, more or less back to back. So my son goes, "Well, Mom, are we doing the conference thing?" Kind of hoping that I was going to say no, but of course that wasn't going to be the case, right? I said, "Yes, I booked everyone." And he's like, "What? Did you have to book everyone?" And I'm like, "Well, might as well. I get, 2 chances a year to check in, and you're going to this private school. And of course, I want to know what you're learning and what your experience is like at school. I want to see the faces of your teachers and connect with them so that I can be at least somewhat involved. I'm not normally like hanging out at school or anything." So he's like, "Well, my other friends, their parents and their moms, they don't do everything." And I'm like, "Yes, so let that be them and this is us." And, that's it. That's kind of final. So I sense that he feels like it's a little bit of a drag, but I can also tell that he knows this about me, that I feel like education is important. School is important. My son spends 5 days out of the week there, and I want to know that he's enjoying himself, or he's, having fun learning, and that he's connecting with his teachers and his friends and group work and all that good stuff. Just a quick check-in, but I want to be in the know. So I think it was like a Wednesday morning or something, we opted to do these conferences online this time. We sat in front of my laptop, and Isa pulled up a chair next to me. And just one by one, I think we spoke to like 6 or 7 teachers that day. And, all the reports were pretty good, that he asks questions and he's handles group work very well, and his grades have been going up and all of these things. And so all that's good, but that wasn't even the point. I realized like halfway through, after the 3rd teacher or something, that, oh my God, I hadn't sat next to my 14-year-old son in a chair next to each other for a full hour for God only knows how long. I couldn't believe it. And then, so during our schedule that day, we had a short break in between. We had like a 20-minute break before the next teacher or something. And I realized that suddenly I was in a good mood. I felt happy. I felt fulfilled and contented. And then I realized why. It's because I got to sit next to my boy for so long. And then I realized, oh my God, I missed him. I really, really missed him. Of course, I had inklings of an idea that I missed him. And of course, I maybe even complained about it once or twice. But I hadn't realized, and this is my Kizuki, I hadn't realized that the depth of how much I was truly grieving the independence of my son. Which, at the same time, of course, that's a thing to celebrate. But I think for the mom in me, who loved so much to cuddle and care for and play with and hang out with my little boy, goodness, I was grieving him. I was grieving the kind of connection that we used to have. And of course, it might sound like this is a little bit of a stretch of the definition of grief. It's not like I'm losing him, right? Our relationship is changing, it's transforming. But also, yes, there is a death of the old relationship. There is a loss of the connection that used to be. And we are still in the middle of developing the next level of connection. It's morphing. So I took the opportunity to tell him, oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm so happy I got to sit next to you. I'm getting to sit next to you for a full 60 minutes, 70 minutes. And I feel so content. I didn't realize, I knew I missed you, but I didn't realize that I missed you so much. To which he just kind of smirked and smiled and shrugged it off and went back into his room, of course, for the 20-minute break until he would have to come out for the next conference. But after that admittance, I feel like somehow it's brought us closer, because I wasn't just complaining about his absence. I wasn't just nagging at him for more time and more attention. I think there was a sincerity to the communication that conveyed to him, oh dear, I love you so much that I'm letting you go every day, and I still miss you. Of course, I shared it with my sister, and sister said, "Oh, I knew you were grieving. I saw this coming a long time ago." And I just wanted to share it with you for any of you teenage parents out there. Yeah, it's hard, but I think we're all doing the best we can and just taking it a day at a time. So kudos to you for wherever you are, and for whoever needed to hear this episode. I am holding you in your grief, whether it's the teenager morphing into his next stage of freedom, or whether it's you, needing to morph into your next stage of life, that the loss simultaneously is always, always a rebirth. Thank you for listening. Learn more about me in my upcoming book, Kizuki, Realizations Beyond Time and Death, at my website, maey.live, or find me on Instagram at maeyoshiKawa.